Welcome to the Aaron L. Show. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe down at the bottom. This video right here is going to be about a shooting that a sheriff walked into a judge's chambers and shot the judge in cold blood right in his chambers in Whitesburg, Kentucky. Now, the deputy's name is Mickey Steins. Mickey Steins. Now, it's allegations on Mickey Steins that he had deputies that were in charge of the ankle monitoring in that county. And one of his deputies that was under his watch was taking young ladies and basically using his authority to his advantage by letting these young ladies off on their ankle monitors early, giving them some kind of incentives or whatever the case may be for sexual favors that I guess benefited them on their ankle monitor, or he was threatening to violate them on their ankle monitor, but whatever he was doing in this small county. Now you have to remember, in Whitesburg, Kentucky, this is a small county, a little rural city. So at times, I guess these deputies had access to the judge's chambers after hours, and this is where the deputy was taking these young ladies and having sexual intercourse with them, and other situations were happening in those chambers. Now, the sheriff, Mickey Steins, because it was guys that was under his watch, when these allegations came out, he was formally charged, not criminally, but it was a financial litigation against him, because some of these ladies were trying to sue him because they say that he knew about it and he was turning a blind eye to the situation. Now, how does the sheriff, Mickey Steins, and the judge come in this situation? I'm not really for sure what he had on the judge. The judge name was Kevin Mullins out of Kentucky. Kevin Mullins out of Whitesburg, Kentucky. He just walked into the judge's chamber and shot him. Now, I'm not for sure if he walked into the judge's chambers and they were having a discussion about the allegations that his chambers were being used after hours. I'm not for sure, because to me, it seemed like it's some secrets going on down there. To me, it seemed like it's something bigger than this going on down there for a deputy sheriff to walk in the judge's chambers as if they were actually having a meeting and just shoot him in cold blood, turn right back around and walk into the courthouse after he shoots the judge in his chambers, walks into the courthouse, puts his gun on the table, and proceeds to be arrested for just shooting the judge in his chambers within 10-15 seconds ago. So I believe that they're putting it out publicly that the judge was killed in cold blood by the sheriff because of the allegations on the sheriff, and possibly maybe losing his job because they were saying he were turning a blind cheek to his deputies using the judge's chambers after hours. So they were basically abusing their authority. Women in that county who was wearing an ankle monitor, these deputies were basically giving these ladies incentives. I'm not for sure, letting them off ankle monitor early, leaving them on ankle monitor longer than they should be. They were doing something that was basically manipulating these women into going into the chambers and giving sexual favors for some type of benefit on their ankle monitor. After one of the women, I guess, exposed the deputy, the sheriff who's in charge of everything, he basically was charged in a financial litigation or something like that, to a point where he was going to be sued civil. You know, by him being in charge, people feel like in this town he had to know that was going on. So he had a civil lawsuit on him. And I'm not for sure if the judge that was killed was overseeing that case, and maybe they were having a disagreement or a misunderstanding to why the charges were even put on him. So he went in the judge's chambers, and maybe they were talking about it, having a one-on-one meeting about the litigation that was against him financially for the women who felt they were abused in the judge's chambers. And one thing led to another, and he shot the judge in cold blood. In Whitesburg, Kentucky, a sheriff walked right into the judge's chambers and shot him in his head in cold blood and killed him, and walked right out the judge's chambers and turned himself in for those charges. Now we have the judge that was killed. Rest in peace to him. I know his family is hurting. This is something that's just devastating. The sheriff that shot him was Shawn Mickey Steins. They said that right after he shot the judge, he tried to call his daughter on his phone, and he actually grabbed the judge's phone after he shot him and tried to call his daughter, but his daughter didn't pick up. This is in Morgan County, and the judge that was shot was Kevin Mullins. And my opinion of it is I just feel like it's more to the story. Men of power abuse their power a lot. And a lot of women, they basically are put in positions where they feel like they have to abide by it because they hold something over their head. But I feel like it could have just been a misunderstanding with the sheriff and the judge, and the sheriff just overreacted. Maybe he felt his career was on the line. Maybe he felt he was going to lose his home in the civil lawsuit with the ladies that felt like they were abused in the judge's chambers. It's just they just said on the news that everything was videotaped in the judge's chamber, so they actually have the conversation that the sheriff and the judge was having right before the sheriff shot the judge. I'm wondering why, if they were bringing women into the judge's chambers after hours, how come that's not on video film? So that's kind of like letting you know it's more to the story. I will give another update on this situation, but it's just a sad situation when you hear that a sheriff walked into a judge's chambers, shot him in his head in cold blood. But the sheriff did have a litigation against him. It was a lot of women trying to sue him financially because of the allegations that one of his deputies was abusing his power in the judge's chambers by getting sexual favors from women in that county who were on ankle monitor for some form of court probation that the deputy was overseeing. Now the sheriff, they're not saying that the sheriff that committed the murder had anything to do with the ladies, but it was deputies that he was overseeing, and they're not understanding how he didn't know nothing about that. But I will give an update. But like I said, the judge, Kevin Mullins, was shot in cold blood inside his chambers by Deputy Shawn Mickey Steins. And I will give another update on this. I appreciate y'all watching. This is the Aaron L. Show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm definitely going to follow this case out of Whitesburg, Kentucky, Morgan County. And y'all will hear an update soon. Peace.